Hi there, and welcome to this week's crypto astrology forecast. I'm going to look at Bitcoin. I'm going to look at sort of the overall of the altcoin market and kind of point out a few things there. And I'm going to look at silver and gold because silver had a massive move yesterday. So we could just call this Financials Tuesday, but we're going to look into all those things. Mainly it's crypto astrology because the astrology gives me a heads up on what's going on next, because the market looks to be a little bit undecided, right? It's kind of like we're going sideways. We're going to continue up as our sort of previous move almost made us think it was going to do, or are we going to continue down? And that's the question I'll answer in this video. And if you want more details as far as how long, the timing report, which comes out at the beginning of every month, gives a heads up on what I expect and sort of when the moves up can happen or the moves down as well. So you have kind of a framework for the market. I'm not exactly giving days, and I certainly can't give levels in advance, but I can give you sort of like when the storms are coming, like we had that giant storm. Of course, they couldn't tell you exactly which streets were going to get hit with what weather, right? It's not like that, but it does give you a heads up on what weather's coming. So, and of course, that's at my auraright.media. You become a member, you get that. There will be the February timing report coming out here in the next few days. And I'm also, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'm going to post an excerpt from my recent pro member call. I'm going to start posting some excerpts because I do the calls every week. Pro every 2 weeks and VIP every other. Well, VIP has access to all the calls, right? So that's the main difference, but also VIP has a whole other list of good coins. All right. So anyway, let's dive into it. Let's take a look at what's going on with the crypto market right now. So this is what I have been showing you guys for months about this. We were in an uptrend, right? We had been in a downtrend. We hit this point and then we started getting uptrend, confirmed signals, which is higher highs and higher lows. And that continued until we hit this point. And that point became kind of an inflection point because we came down here after that. Okay, got myself out of the way there. So you can see that right here, we hit this peak, but then we sort of turned around and we got, most definitely down here here was our previous lows were sort of in this range, and we took those right out as we were headed down. So we got a lower low all the way to here, first to here and then to here. Then our next peak was most definitely a lower high, lower than our most recent two peaks. Then we came down slightly lower here, and then even we're on a lower high. So we're in what looks like a downtrend, even though at the moment it seems sort of sideways, and it would be possible on a technical level for us to keep going up. But the astrology tells me that we are now headed to continuation of a down move. So the question is it a big down move or a smaller down move? Well, we will see, but we have a couple of target levels in here that I'm going to show you. So, we've been going down from here, and then, of course, the market can find a point to turn around later on, and that is what I will be answering in the timing report, which will be out at the end of this month. But so here are our next lower levels, right, that we're watching for. So somewhere between there and, of course, this one would be here and here is the first major target. So, of course, those are the first targets, but is it going to go lower is a bigger question. The likelihood of what happens when we get these significant levels is that we at least get bounces at these levels. We either bounce up and then maybe go lower, or we turn around. And usually I use the astrology to give me an idea of when that inflection point, the point of turnaround, is likely to happen. So these are the next lower levels. I do expect right now we're headed lower. I expect this week we will go sideways and lower. The time frame on all that and how long that can last and all of that stuff is what I do for members. That's what's in the timing report. So I can tell you how much longer I expect us to go down. Okay. And I have been talking to members for the last couple of weeks about where these lower time frames are likely to take us, at least on the first level, after which we will likely get a bounce. So this is helpful if you're trying to swing trade. It's not a good day trading tool. I'm not about day trading, but again, the timing report and the trading course that I offer is completely free to you as a member. If you become a member, it's rolled out over the course of several months, so you have time to integrate and learn those lessons. And it's so that you understand the framework of the market, how the market works. I don't think you should pay $2,000 for that information. I just don't think you should, because you could actually just get it by going out and asking AI. I just give you my perspective as a pretty long-term crypto, OG. I've been in the market since 2016, so I can talk to you about how the market is manipulated. And then I have the added advantage of giving you timeframes with the astrology. So let's take a look at the altcoins and what's going on over there. So what we can do here is we can go to the 7-day. I like to look at the 7-day. You can look at the 1-day too if you want, but I like the 24 hours. I like 7 days to see who's gained the most. You can also click it again and see who's lost the most in the last 7 days if you're looking for something to get on discount. But if you want to buy something low, but you can see here, just because something has made the biggest gains or biggest losses doesn't make it a good coin. If you're trading, maybe you're looking for that for a high volatility coin, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is just to notice what's doing well and what's not. And so what I want to point out is, of course, the gold-backed currencies, XAUT, which is Tether Gold, and Pax Gold, PAXG, are holding their own because gold is holding its value compared to the US dollar. So it's doing well, okay? And then also Bitcoin Cash that I pointed out earlier, that is holding its own. It's up almost 5% for the week, which actually is a really spectacular return, just if you were looking at the stock market. But for crypto, it's kind of muted, right? Nobody's paying attention to it. But make sure you go back and watch my Bitcoin Cash video. So the point here is this is how you can get a look at the market, okay? I do want to do a quick look at gold and silver just because silver had a spectacular and quite scary move yesterday. I'm going to show you. So here's silver at about 100, almost 109, 108.62. So silver shot up to 118 and change yesterday. I will insert the screenshot so you can see it. That's really, it was a huge move. It made, I think it moved like $15 yesterday on Monday, and then they managed to crash it down. This is not the same as what's going on in the physical markets around the world. Okay. So it went up about $121 yesterday, which is a big move, even for gold. So there's a horse race. It's a great horse race because if you have gold and if you have silver, you're going to win either way. So you're happy with both of them. Of course, silver is going to move a lot more, but there's some big shifts happening in that market. So there's some big things that are likely to unfold in the next weeks here that are major. I mean, we have a lot going on in the macro big picture situation with the yen carry trade falling apart, which is like one of the biggest things that's ever hit the financial market. And I'm not like happy, but it's going to do well for those of us who are in a good position for this. Okay. This is what I've spent I've literally, lived within my means and not splurged and really kept myself on an even keel for over a decade waiting for this time. So most people have really excessively spent and are not prepared for the problems that are coming. So this is part of the rebalancing that is coming and what is called the wealth transfer. Wealth transfer isn't going to be just sit there and money's going to come to you. You have to actually have some knowledge and some insight and some smarts to set yourself up in the correct position. Those of us who have done that, and there's still time. There's still time. You're not getting $30 silver anymore. Right? The first time I bought silver, it was in the 30s. That was back in 2011. I just held on to it, even when it dropped down to $12, which actually it was 14 was about the lowest you could really buy it at. And I bought it, and my members, we all bought it at that time. So anyway, that's my take for you guys. This is a heads up. So be prepared for this week. We might get a little bit of a move up, not much with crypto. Crypto is the risk asset that is going down this week. The silver gold moves are going up. Of course, there's sort of an inverse relationship between these two. So when precious metals are going up, it's not good for risk assets like crypto. Just a heads up. Talk to you guys later. Make sure you subscribe. And of course, more info on my website and as a member. Bye. Have a good week.